for the coming of the King of the Jews. 16 saints salute for him, bringing the truth.
Hello, this is Dr. Gregg Mays with your Word Wednesday. Today, I want to talk about something that I think we sometimes do, but we forget that God has already shown us exactly how it's going to work out. Think about a time when God has told you He's going to do something for you, or you know that God has placed something on your heart and this is going to happen. But then you decide, oh, I better help you, God. And so you go and you do things your own way. And then you turn around and say, okay, God, why don't you bless what I've done? I know you said you want to continue to do this other thing, but won't you bless what I've done? And that reminds me of Abraham. In the book of Genesis, God tells Abraham in Genesis chapter 12 to leave his father's country and to go to a place that God will show him. Well, he does. He leaves and he goes. And then God tells him, I am going to make you a father of many nations, that your descendants will be as uncountable as the stars. You're as uncountable as the sands on the beach, right? But here's the thing. Abraham looks at his circumstances and decides, I'm too old. And so he and his wife devised this plan to have Abram sleep with her maidservant. And so she bears him a son. And God is explaining to him that he's going to bear a son. And this is after Ishmael is born, the son Ishmael that that Abraham had. God's changing his name to Abraham, and he's explaining to him, this is what I'm going to do, and don't worry about what you see. I'm going to make this happen. And then if we turn over into the book of Genesis 17, verse 17, we're going to see Abraham's reaction to God's blessing. Now here, God has told Abraham, this is what I'm going to do. And listen to Abraham's response. It blows my mind. It says, Abraham fell face down. Now God has told him that he's going to have a child in his old age, he and his wife. It says, Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself. Now Abraham's talking to himself right now. Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And then I guess he's reconciled in himself. Oh, I've got this figured out. Because then he says to God, watch this. If only Ishmael might live under your blessing. In other words, if only you would take my mistake. And I'm not saying that Ishmael was a mistake in as much as, no child is a mistake. But I am saying that it was a mistake to think that you could take what God, or you could do what God said he was going to do, and then you could go do it on your own, which is what Abraham did. And so now he's asking God, well, can't you just let Ishmael live under that blessing that you're talking about? You're making me the father of many nations, making me the father, having so many descendants, like the stars in the skies can't be counted. My descendants won't be counted. Hey, can't you make my... And this is what we do. We get out in front of God. We do what we want to do. And then we say, but God, I know you told me to be patient, and I wasn't patient, but can't you just bless what I've already done? Do I really have to wait and do what you said you wanted to do in the first place? And I can just imagine God is saying, yes, you do have to wait. Yes, we are going to do it my way. Why? Because God is all-knowing. He knows what's going to happen with his way is going to work out for our good. He also knows that when we just do it our way without taking him into account, is going to be messed up. And before you say, no, I don't agree with that, may I remind you of your adversary, the enemy, who is prowling around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. You get out from God's protection, and he'll be looking to devour you. I pray that this is a blessing. Stay strong.
All rise for the coming of the King of the Jews. 16 saints salute for him, bringing the truth. Hold up for a minute, put your focus on him, then say lie for a second to catch more.